Hello, hello. Welcome. Today I'm going to be discussing high frequencies, radio waves, millimeter waves, 5G, and how it relates to us. You, me, our kids, parents, grandparents, and the very folks that are rolling this thing out. Let's see what the millimeter wave technology is really all about. What we can do to protect ourselves against such happenings. Okay. So, real quick, I just want to glance over what extremely high frequencies is dubbed at Wikipedia. They state, extremely high frequency is the International Telecommunication Union designation for the band of radio frequencies in the electromagnetic spectrum from 30 to 300 gigahertz. It lies between the super high frequency band and the far infrared band, which is also referred as the terahertz gap. Radio waves in this band have wavelengths from 10 to 1 millimeter, giving it the name millimeter band or millimeter wave. Okay? So what we're talking about here is millimeter wave technology coming out of our 5G towers, 4G towers, and the like. But I'm going to be focusing on the fact that 5G rollout is going to harm us. Well, you be the judge. I'm just going to show you a few things that I found. And right here, real quick, it says this was first investigated in the 1890s by a scientist. So they've known about this millimeter very, very long time. Okay, moving on. Millimeter wave scanners. We've all seen these pictures before. If you've been to the airport, you know. This is a X-ray scanner, but the debate goes back and forth. Is it good for us? Is it bad for us? You know. Funny how the millimeter wave, that's what technology is I never knew that. So did you know that? I don't know. I didn't know that. You know, they have these in the airport security checkpoints to check if we have something in our hair bun or, you know, in our pocket that we forgot about. Take off your belt, take off your shoes. I didn't know they were scanning us with this millimeter wave technology, you know. So all the debates about cancer and carcinogenic X-ray machines, well, just know that those are millimeter waves. So there's that. Moving along. Here is a video. I want to just take a moment, well, it's not too long, to show you guys, if you haven't known already, that Verizon put out, this is what 5G is to them. Okay? So let's just have a listen.
We believe 5G is an exponential improvement to what we have today. This year is the year that we're going to offer a commercial product to our customers.
Okay, real quick. I don't mean to pause it right away, but I've seen these type of things before in and around my town, and I'm sure you have too. I didn't know that was already 5G. I know it was being rolled out, but didn't know. And I mean, second of all, look at how low to the ground this one is. This is on a light post. I mean, do we really need it that low? Why? If these things are so powerful, why go so low to the ground? I mean, this is looking like the height of 3 times that stop sign. At any rate, I digress.
In millimeter wave, we have a massive amount of bandwidth.
We're seeing testing speeds of over 1 gigabit per second, as well as extremely low latency.
It's really high frequency, so everybody thinks it doesn't go very far, but it's a really big pipe, and so that's what allows you to gain the super fast speeds.
I mean, do we really need, I mean, who's clamoring for faster speed? I mean, I know that it's awesome. I'm just I'm not one to say, hey, my phone's not fast enough, or I didn't load this web page quick enough, or I need to watch the 1080 4K even faster. I need to download it. I don't know. Maybe you are. Let me know if I'm wrong.
We're here on top of this parking garage. We're 3,000 feet away from our radio node. The cool thing about this is we did not move the radio node. It's pointing down to serve the customers in that area.
Okay,
here,
let me back up real quick.
Feet away, customers in that area.
If you didn't notice, because I missed it the first time, they're circling the big equipment up here. That's the 4G. A lot of big equipment, not as strong as this little tiny piece of equipment, which is the 5G, which is extremely strong. So that's kind of scary in itself, how tiny these things are, and you'll miss them if you don't know what you're looking at.
Area. But here, even 3,000 feet away, we're still getting gig speeds. So we've driven about a third of a mile away from the radio node. It's located over there behind the trees. We're still getting very good speeds, even though we have foliage in between. Our radio node is tucked in behind those apartments over there. The signal is actually bouncing off of the buildings. Even at this distance with non-line of sight, we're still getting almost a gig.
Okay, so let me stop right there and mention I've seen other people talk about how this 5G technology needs to be lower to the ground and needs to be closer. Every home's going to have one 200 feet away from it or so. They talk about how it's got to be repeated like that because it doesn't go very far and it can't make it through buildings or trees because it's so thick and it's like a solid piece. Right here, Verizon straight up telling everybody, we can go through trees. We can go through buildings. They're about to tell you. We can, long distance. He was 3,000 feet away. I mean, somebody's been a little misled when they say they need a repeater every so often because it just doesn't go that far. It doesn't go through your home. Completely incorrect, at least according to this Verizon video.
We're here doing our in-building tests. This right here is our CPE equipment. We're going through the wall, over here, also through the window, and our radio is way out there at the tower. And we're still getting really good speeds and signal.
Essentially, what beamforming does is compensate for any signal loss by switching automatically to the strongest beam. The selection of the beam is done instantaneously, so you get really solid coverage.
Okay, well, you're getting the idea, okay? Verizon on the up and up, putting crazy look at that. I mean, oh my gosh, so low to the ground. Anyway, moving along, I'll talk about how the military is using millimeter wave. If you haven't seen this video, it's worth a watch. I'm not going to watch the entire 5-minute bit, but I did want to, show a little bit of it if you haven't seen it before, about how the military is using the non-lethal, what they call active denial system, to move crowds or
very cramped.
Just have a look.
Almost like my living quarters in the barracks. Just kidding. But
what is he, like 22? What do you think? 23?
This is very cramped. So the guy's in here, he's controlling the monitors. It's got it pinpointed all the way down to small little crosshairs, and it's really impressive. Probably the coolest thing about this little getup is the Atari-like joystick that they use to control the system. And I'm pretty sure I'd be qualified to operate the system because I'm pretty good at Call of Duty.
Yeah, I don't mean to mention his age per se, but the reason I do that is because he just talks about gaming and how he may be qualified because he's pretty good at Call of Duty, and it's like, I don't know, they're showing a young kid talking about gaming, and I mean, we're not talking about games or Call of Duty here. We're trying to. This is more serious than that, if you know what I'm trying to say.
So you've got the two monitors right here. You could probably play split screen. I don't know. We'll have to ask about that. I'm ready, sir.
And now they tested on him.
Wow. Wow. So, sir, I've seen this operated on one person, but how does it measure up against a crowd of people?
You can use it in a crowd to move a crowd from one area to the other. That's the beauty of the system. You can actually sweep from left to right, start on one end, and you can get them in the direction that you want to go. So it's very useful to the commander, moving people in a specific direction.
So it's a very effective weapon that has a very broad range of things they can do. And at the same time, it's non-lethal. It's not going to kill
Absolutely.
you. So for the people that think, oh, I'm going to be roasted alive, as soon as you get out of the heat, your skin's fine, you feel normal. And
That's correct.
I really like that about the system.
Yes.
Okay, you feel normal, but this millimeter wave technology is going up all around us. You know, long exposure, you know, that's where the questions start to come in. All right, let me skip ahead here.
System will produce a focused beam of directed energy to provide our troops a non-lethal option to stop, deter,
First
and
of all,
turn back.
real quick, I'm sorry. What are these people doing? Yeah, I get the crowd. I get the crowd. You know, maybe they're rioting or protesting too much, or I don't know. But what are these people digging in the ground? What are they doing? Is that just to show that there's people that they don't want, suspicious characters doing something? I just didn't understand what this demonstration was supposed to demonstrate. Anyway.
Minimal risk of injury. Active denial technology is designed to protect the innocent, minimize fatalities, and limit collateral damage across the range of military operations. Active denial technology uses radio frequency millimeter waves at a frequency of 95 gigahertz. Traveling at the speed of light, the millimeter wave directed energy engages the subject, penetrating the skin to a depth of only about 1/64th of an inch. The beam produces an intolerable heating sensation, compelling the targeted individual to instinctively move. For the military, active denial technology can be used for both force application and force protection missions. Applications include crowd control, perimeter security, patrol and convoy protection, and other defensive and offensive operations from both fixed site or mobile platforms.
You get the idea. Military is using millimeter wave technology to crowd control in a non-lethal way. You know, it penetrates the skin only 1/64th of an inch. Pretty small, but also, you know, what are the long-lasting effects? You know, where are these tests? I want to know, you know. Okay, next tab. I pulled up cancer.org to see what it had to say about microwaves, radio waves, and this radio frequency radiation that we're up against. It tells you what it is. You know, you can pause and read some more. I'm not going to read the whole thing. How are we exposed? Well, we already know. We got it in our phones. We got it in our Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. It's in our microwaves. You know, by the way, if you have your microwave right next to a refrigerator, you know, I would just suggest try not to keep any food items near your microwave. You know, next time you pull lettuce out of your refrigerator, you know, maybe it's not so healthy as it was before you use the microwave. So maybe move your microwave. I don't know if that's possible, but also it mentions welders, PVC welders can be exposed. Of course, the people who have to work on these towers can be exposed. You know, obviously they're very sick. I've heard stories and seen people get very sick that have to work on those. You know, cancer and other sorts of illnesses. It mentions the full body security scanners at the airports. You know, obviously we're getting exposed there. Cell phone towers, I said again. In the lab studies that they mentioned, does it cause cancer? They just basically say, well, you know, it's not always clear if the results from these types of studies will apply to humans, you know, but come on. Really? You know, what are you just not sure? You've done all these tests, spend all that money, but you just, maybe. Maybe not. We're not sure. It's not really clear. It's not really clear. Moving along. I don't know if you can hear my clock in the background. Okay. I mean, straight up, does radiation cause any other health problems? In animals, sometimes called thermal effects, high doses can raise body temperature, even to the point of being fatal. So, there's that. Burns, breakdown of the tissue, cataracts form. Okay, see. If we keep scrolling through, how can we avoid it? Because sources of radio frequency radiation are so common in the modern environment, they're everywhere, there is no way to completely avoid exposure to it. It may be possible to lower your exposure to radio frequency radiation by avoiding jobs with increased radio frequency exposure, keeping away from appliances and equipment that use radio frequencies, i.e. your microwave, your telephone, your Wi-Fi, your, etc., etc. And using devices that allow mobile phones to be used without placing them against the ear. So I guess they're talking about Bluetooth devices, maybe headphones. Aside from headphones being plugged into your phone, your Bluetooth is the same technology. It's just as harmful. There's no difference. In fact, it may even be more harmful since these Bluetooths are normally hanging around our neck the entire time, maybe hours on end. Maybe you're even listening to this broadcast on a Bluetooth device. So, think about that. Still, it isn't clear that doing so, listen to this last sentence on the cancer.org about radio frequencies. Still, it isn't clear that doing so will be helpful in terms of health risks. So even if you take these precautions, it still isn't clear. We're just not sure, we just, I don't know, keep doing what you're doing. We're just not sure that it's going to help you with, not have health problems. Minute amount of good news, I guess, I'm trying to find out of this. Possibly a cell phone. They call them safe sleeves. They're cases that block the radiation effects, anti-radiation cases. Aside from not using your phone as much, which near impossible, unless you want to be thrown back into the days of no cell phones and having to hold a map and do all the things old school way. We all can do that. There's nothing stating we can't live like that, but it's going to be hard to convince the everyday person in your life that, hey, let's not use cell phones. Let's get a rotary phone and at any rate, comment down below if you have any other tips that might help us prevent against radiation and whatever you might think that I missed out on or could have put in the video. Let me know what you think. Is there nothing we can do? I mean, there's lawsuits being done and they're going to court over this stuff. You let me know. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.